When we look at last time around in 2017, when Trump came in, we saw a very similar thing. Economic surprises fell off a cliff because the dollar had strengthened in anticipation of Trump coming into office. That then eventually reversed, and the economic cycle picked up massively, and the dollar weakened hugely. And that drove what was a very large crypto and risk cycle, even though the Fed were raising rates. You see, global financial conditions are the key thing here. And that could be driven by the US, or it could be driven by China, or it could be driven by Europe. It could be any of these economic powers, or it could be all of them. So as the dollar weakens, we're already seeing that mechanisms like dollar yen are starting to move a lot more. Now, dollar yen is incredibly important because the Japanese banking system is the heart of the eurodollar system. They're the ones who lend out dollars into the global economy, and that finds itself its backdoor into China that allows China to service its dollar debts. And if the dollar is weaker, then China can weaken its currency. It can then stimulate more aggressively. It needs to do trillions of dollars of QE to service the bankrupt real estate sector and other parts of the non-performing loan sector. So anyway, that's all to come. If we look at the dollar now versus then, very similar. Trump back then said the dollar is too strong. They've already talked about it, him and Scott Bessent. They've already talked about the long end of rates. What they want is the dollar to, first they will use the dollar as a bargaining tool with the Chinese, the Europeans, the Canadians, the Mexicans to get the tariffs in place. In exchange, they will give a weaker dollar. That helps everybody out. We could all then move forwards with the global economy, and the global economy should be strong. The back end of rates, which is like 10-year rates and stuff, well, that's going to help you guys too, because your mortgages will come down and borrowings for corporations will come down. And that gives everybody more money, and that stimulates economic growth. This is all to come. They've made it very clear that that's what they want to do. Global M2 back in 2017, exactly following this cycle. Same kind of administration with the same tariff policies. Dollar reacted the same. The markets reacted the same. So again, don't expect these to be perfection, but expect this to start playing out again. If this is the case, then M2 is going to keep going up all fucking year. If that is the case, then crypto and risk assets like tech will do well all year. Again, don't expect perfection. It won't be exact, but it'll be close enough. I don't see any reason why that won't be the case. And anybody telling you otherwise is just plucking stories. We do the analysis, lots and lots of it. We have hundreds upon hundreds, maybe thousands of charts on all of this. Another way of looking at it is global M2. It kind of consolidates for periods of time. Those periods of time tend to be crypto winter and then crypto spring. As we start transitioning into summer, you get this breakout in M2 and then a retest. We've had the breakout and retest, and what happens is after that retest, that tends to be phase one correction of the banana zone. We started the banana zone in September, October, November. Then we start correcting. We continue to correct, and then we take off again. That's all to play for. It's very normal. It's playing out like a very typical cycle. The other thing that drives all of this is the business cycle. See, the business cycle is driven by financial conditions, liquidity, all of those things. But this is how businesses do when financial conditions get easier. The ISM survey above 50 shows the economy is starting to grow. Now, economic growth has been strong, but that's been driven by the government sector. But again, Trump and Bessent have said they really want the private sector to take over. So what they're telling you is they want the ISM to go up. They want the private sector to start expanding, regular businesses. And regular businesses expanding also drive Bitcoin. So Bitcoin goes up as the ISM goes up. So this kind of rate of change of Bitcoin will give us much higher prices if the ISM gets up to its normal cycle peak of somewhere between 56 and 65. And that will give us the magnitude of the rise in Bitcoin. We don't yet have a full handle on how high the ISM will go this cycle. But if it goes above 60, I mean, those are high prices in Bitcoin. That's above 300,000, maybe even higher. Now, again, I don't use forecasts because you guys don't deserve them, because you use them against me and say, well, you predicted that. I'm not predicting. What we're trying to do is give you contextualization of how the market can evolve so you can play along from home. Rising ISM will be good for your bags. And rising ISM it may still be choppy because we're still coming through. We need rates to go lower. But as that happens, we will see this pick up. Forward-looking indicators of ISM, like ISM new orders, less inventories, leads by 3 months. It's going up very sharply. Again, expected to be choppy, but it's telling us ISM should be going up. So that's good for Bitcoin in the future. 3 months' time, Bitcoin should be much higher. Okay, great. It's starting to get this now. The ISM also says, well, when that starts coming above 50, what happens is altcoins tend to outperform. Now, there's all this bullshit online. There's going to be no altcoin season. It's never going to happen. It's only a Bitcoin only season. It's all about the ETFs, blah, 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 blah. Simply, probably not true. Again, we deal in a world of probabilities and no certainties, but probabilistically speaking, as the business cycle accelerates, people go further out the risk curve because they have more money. You're earning more money. Your mortgage has gone down. You have higher savings, you can recycle them into assets. It happens at corporate level too, as corporate earnings go up and the overvaluation that people are scared about of the stock market, well, that all becomes noise as well because earnings expand. And then those earnings get recycled into investments and the market goes higher. So altcoins should outperform in the next phase once we get out of this corrective phase. Okay, let's look at these corrective phases. If you guys have got this far and followed me, we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 20% plus pullbacks. And you can't remember those. You might remember the last summer one because that was pretty miserable, but that's it. We deal with this. The volatility is a feature, not a bug. You need the volatility to drive these massive rips when they come. So that's where we are. We've seen this. We should be somewhere close to bottoming. Now, with those 7 pullbacks, we've still had 600% returns from the low. Again, you've forgotten about those because you're like, oh my God, it got to 110 and now it's at 80. It's like, it's all fucking noise, kids. Really, honestly. When we go back to 2017, it was more violent because Bitcoin was earlier in its adoption phase and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 30% plus pullbacks, some of them at 40%. So this is more like Solana now, which is more volatile because it's earlier in the cycle. It's more like Ethereum. It's more like others. So this gives you the contextualization of what you're going to have to stomach to make the money. To unfuck your future, you're going to have to learn to deal with volatility. And if you've got any spare income and you can invest, you can buy some of these dips, but be careful later in the cycle. You don't want to overextend when you should be thinking about how do I take money off. But we're far too early for that yet. I talked about we could take lifestyle chips off sometime in the first quarter. Looks like it's pushed out to the second quarter. I'll keep you updated when that happens. But again, I'm very chill about this. When you zoom out, Bitcoin is just retesting where it broke out from. That's it, guys. It's hardly a big deal. When we look at the RSI of Bitcoin, it's like the second most oversold it's been in this entire cycle. These are opportunities. When it gets this oversold, yes, it can chop around a bit at those lows, might even make a new low, might chop, rally, new low, which will then diverge on the RSI. But it's telling you 1 month from now, prices will start climbing for sure. They'll be higher than here. And then 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, we should have much higher prices. So once we've got the corrections out of the way, you start to look forward to, okay, now I can get some real price action going again. So that's to come. When we look at Solana, everyone's like, oh my God, Solana, look at the price. It's just gone back into the range. So we had the kind of the meme mania peak. Then we've taken off the memes. Solana got the most oversold it's been, I think, pretty much since the FTX days. It's oversold versus Global M2. It should be fine going forwards. It's a very clean market. There will be plenty of on-chain activity in Solana as we go forwards. It's a broad, deep, rich ecosystem. So nothing to worry about. And I think many of the memes, or a few of the memes, will be Phoenix that rise from the ashes. We will see some great recoveries in some of that stuff too. But remember, that's only for 10% of our portfolio. The risky stuff is 10%. Solana is a core position for most people, and that's a good one. The core positions that I talk about for most people will vary depending on your case. But, I've always used Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and I use Sui as a higher beta bet because I think that's going to do well this cycle. Again, you may choose different names. You may have XRP, you may have something else. That's fine. You do you, I'll do me. Let's just wish each other the best because that's all we want to do. We want everybody to do well out of this. If this is going to go from $3 trillion as a market cap to $100 trillion, we want everybody to make as much money as possible, and we can fuck it to the banking system and everybody else. We deserve this. This is our system. It's made for us, and it's ours to capture. Help each other out is the key thing, and not fight with each other.